Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the video. Here we have exercise 3b. 3a was done previously, so we have now moved on to 3b. Question number 1. It says state the number of significant figures in each of the following. Okay, so we have to find the significant figures. Before solving this question, we first have to understand that what significant figures are, how can we find the significant figures. So there are some rules which we have to understand first in order to find significant figures in a given number, and after exploring the rules, we will look and solve some examples as well, so we can understand what really significant figures are. Okay, so here we have some rules to find the significant figures. So let's start with rule number 1. It says all non-zero numbers are significant. Non-zero numbers are the numbers which are not zero, so it means all the numbers which are apart from zero are non-zero numbers. So you can see here the number 55 has two significant figures. You can see 5 and 5, so there are two significant figures here. Okay, now this number 33.5, you can see 3, 3 and 5, all three of them are non-zero numbers, so all three of them are significant. So this number has three significant figures. Okay, so so you can see there's a point here, a decimal point. It is a very important, it will be very important in the coming points. So as we move on, we will understand that why this point is very important for us. So now rule number 2 says zeros between two non-zero digits are significant. It means 0 between two non-zero digits. Okay, if there is a 0 between two non-zero digits, you can see 1 and 2 are non-zero numbers and they have a 0 in between. So if there is a 0 between two non-zero digits, it will be count as significant. So you can see 1, 0, 2, 4 has 4 significant figures. All these 4 numbers are significant, so it has 4 significant figures. Same goes here, 1009. You can see these two zeros are between these two non-zero numbers, so all 4 of the numbers will be significant. So this number has 4 significant figures. Now rule number 3 says leading zeros are not significant. Leading zero means the zeros which are in the beginning, the ones which are starting the number. If a number is starting with a 0, so it will be insignificant, it will not be significant. So you can see that 0.54 has only 2 significant figures. How? You can see that this 0 is because it is a leading 0, it is coming first, it is leading the number, so it will be counted as insignificant. So it will not be considered. Only 5 and 4 are our significant figures. So this number has only 2 significant figures. So here we have another example, 0.004. So as you can see, these 3 zeros are leading, they are coming first, so all 3 of them will be insignificant. These will not be considered, only this 4 will be considered. So this number has only 1 significant figure, which is 4. Now rule number 4 says trailing zeros to the right of the decimal are significant. Trailing zeros means the complete opposite of leading zeros. Trailing zeros are the zeros which are coming at the end of the number, which are trailing, which are coming after. So as you can see, 46.00, you can see here these zeros are coming after the non-zero numbers, so these two will be considered as significant. So you can see 46, two non-zero numbers, these are considered significant, and these two zeros are after the significant figures, and they are trailing as well, and after the decimal point, so these two will also be considered significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 significant figures. 5.0, 5 significant because it's a non-zero number, and 0.0 is a trailing 0, so it will be also considered significant. So 5.0 has 2 significant figures, 5 and 0. Same goes here, 6.030. 6, this 0 is between these two non-zero numbers, which was discussed in rule number 2, so this will be considered significant. And this 0, because it's a trailing 0 which is coming after the decimal point, and it's trailing as well, it is coming at the end, so this will be considered as significant. One thing I want to clear here is that most of the students will be confused that here 0.0 is not considered significant, but here 0.0 is considered significant. The main difference is that here there is not any number written before this 0. You can see here there is not any number written before. These zeros are leading zeros, they are coming before the number. So these three zeros will be considered insignificant because they are coming in the leading position, they are coming first. However, these zeros are coming after these two non-zero numbers, so they are trailing zeros, you can see here. So this is the difference between these two rules, a very important difference that you need to understand. So it must be clear that what is the difference between these two zeros here. So these two zeros are trailing zeros, so these will be considered significant. Okay, now moving on to rule number 5. It says trailing zeros to the right of non-zero numbers are not significant. Trailing zeros to the right of non-zero numbers are not significant. 4500, 4500. As you can see, these two zeros are trailing zeros and there is not a decimal point here. As you can see here, this is where the importance of decimal point comes. There is not a decimal point here, so this number will only have two significant figures. You can see here 4500 will have only 4 and 5. These two numbers will be significant, and these two will not be significant because they are trailing zeros and they are not at the right side of a decimal point. So if there was a decimal point here, these will be considered significant, but there is not a decimal point, so these will not be considered significant. Only 4 and 5 will be considered significant. Okay, here we have rule number 6, which is okay, here we have rule number 6, which is the final rule. It says trailing zeros in a whole number with the decimal shown are significant. Let's break this. Okay, trailing zeros, the zeros which are coming after, okay, the zeros which are coming at the end of a number. In a whole number, as you can see 54, you can see 540 is a whole number. There is not a decimal 0.3, 0.4 written here, so this will be considered as a whole number with the decimal shown. You can see that this number has a decimal shown here, so these zeros are significant. 540.0, as we saw earlier, the number was 4500, so 4500 has only two significant figures, that was 4 and 5. Here 5400, but you can see there is a point written here, so these are two trailing zeros with the decimal point shown. So whenever we have in this case, all four numbers will be significant. You can see here this number has 4 significant figures. If there was not a decimal point, then only 54 would be our significant figures, only 2 significant figures, but there is a decimal point here, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, all 4 numbers will be significant. Now there is another example. You can see here 0.030150. okay, understand there are more than one rules applying here. Okay, as you can see, these two zeros are leading zeros, so these will not be significant. We can just simply exclude them. Now 3 is a non-zero, yes, it will be considered, it is significant. This 0, okay, there's a 1 here, so there's a 0 between 3 and 1, so it will be considered significant because a 0 between two non-zero numbers is significant. So 1, 2, 3, we have 3 numbers. 5 is a non-zero number, so it will also be considered. 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 significant figures. Now there's a last 0 here. Will this be a significant figure or not? Pause the video and understand. Okay, so you can see this 0 here is significant. Why? Because it is a trailing 0 which is at the right of the decimal point, so it will be considered significant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This number has 5 significant figures. I hope all these rules are clear to you. So before solving the exercise 3A, understanding of these rules is very important, so I would suggest that you keep practice and keep just go through the video one more time, and so you can understand and just get your head around the rules first here. Okay, now let's take some examples here. Okay, let's take example number 1. Example number 1, let's take a number. For example, let's take 540,301.04. Okay, how many significant figures are here? 1, 2 non-zero numbers. This is a 0 between two non-zero numbers. Significant because between 3 and 1. 0.04, this 0 is after a point and it's a trailing 0, so all these numbers are significant. So this number has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 significant figures. Okay, so here I've gathered a few examples. So if you want to solve them by your own, you can just pause the video and you can solve them, because I'm just about to solve them now. So let's take example number 2, 92.00. These two zeros are at the right of the decimal point and they are trailing zeros, so these two will be considered significant. 1, 2, 3, 4. This number has 4 significant figures. Okay, now 10.01, two zeros between non-zero numbers. Very easy, it has only 1, 2, 3, 4. Again 4 significant figures. 69,000. These zeros are trailing zeros, but there is not a decimal point here anywhere, so this number will only have 2 significant figures, 6 and 9, so only 2 significant figures here. Now 3020.40, 302, this 0 is between these two non-zero, significant. This 0 is between these two non-zeros, significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 confirmed. Now this last 0 is at the right of their decimal point, and it is also trailing, so this will be considered significant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 significant figures here. Okay, here 1.0000000, we have so many zeros here. Okay, so there's a point here and these all zeros are trailing zeros, so these all zeros will be considered significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 significant figures here. Okay, I hope the concept of significant figures is clear to you. So I think now we can solve question number 1. Okay, so now I think question 1 is very easy for us to solve now. So part A, amount of significant figures here are 1, 2, 3, 4. These are non-zero numbers, so they are all significant. This 0 is between two non-zero numbers, so it will also be considered significant. So this number has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 39018 has 5 significant figures. Now part B, very easy now. These two zeros are leading zeros, so we will not consider them, so we will exclude them. 2, 8, this 0 is between these two non-zero numbers, so it will be considered significant. This is a trailing zero, which is at the right side of the decimal point, so it will be considered significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0.028030 has 5 significant figures. Now part C is very easy now. 2900, it is rounded off to nearest 10. So as you can see here, 2900, if I go directly, 2900 has 2 significant figures, and these two zeros will not be considered because they are trailing zeros, and but there is not a decimal point here, so there should be only two significant figures, 2 and 9. But in the question it is said that to the nearest 10, so unit 10. This place is very important for us because this is the place to which this number is rounded off. So this number 0 place is very significant for us, it is very important for us, so this 0 will also be considered in the significant figure. So 2, 9 and this 0, because the question is rounded off to nearest 10, so this 0 place will also be considered important for us. So 2900 will have